Why is Sri Lanka suffering from a crisis? Today we see Sri Lanka is in very bad situation and there is economic crisis in Sri Lanka. But we should go further and see what are the reasons for this crisis. Let's go back in time and see how Sri Lanka was doing earlier than this crisis and what caused Sri Lanka this crisis. So in uh, earlier times, Sri Lanka faced a civil war and it ended in 2009. It was a very long civil war. It was 26 years long civil war, and after that, Sri Lanka was growing at rapid rate. Its GDP growth rate was around 9%, 8.9% per annum until 2012. And after 2012, there was the repercussions of the global economic crisis of 2008 started to show up, and Sri Lanka was also in the process faced economic problems. Suddenly, all the commodity prices started to fall, and Sri Lanka's export started to slow down, and imports were increased, and Sri Lanka's GDP started to fall again. Sri Lanka wartime budget deficit was large, and global financial crisis of 2008 depleted Sri Lanka's foreign exchange. After that, there was a recent bomb blast in Sri Lanka on Easter Day. After that, there were many bans put on by Sri Lankan government. This was this also hampered the economic growth in Sri Lanka. And then the new government was led by Gotabaya Rajapaksa in Sri Lanka in 2019, and recently after pandemic, Sri Lanka started. Sri Lanka government promised many incentives to the people and agriculture community, and it also lowered income tax for higher income group, which also led to lesser tax collection for government. And suddenly Sri Lanka uh, uh, stopped fertilizers subsidy to the farmers and announced that Sri Lanka will go completely organic. This also caused food crisis in Sri Lanka. Earlier there was no food crisis in Sri Lanka, but suddenly going organic created food shortages in the market and started increasing the prices of everything in Sri Lanka. And the tax collection was also decreasing. Slowly, Sri Lanka started facing foreign exchange reserve crisis and lack of foreign exchange, and due to uh, economic problems, Sri Lanka has defaulted its payment from the IMF, and the debt uh, incurred by Sri Lanka is about $52 billion, and there was complete chaos in Sri Lanka due to this economic crisis, and all and everyone in Sri Lanka just wanted Rajapaksa family to get down of the Sri Lanka power,